Welcome back. Our CEOs of African capital markets are advocating greater market integration and linkages amongst African capital markets. In this panel discussion with VOA Channels TV business correspondent Jill Maladrino on the sideline of the just concluded Africa Investor Summit at the Nasdaq market site in New York, the CEOs ruled out capital markets consolidation in terms of acquisition. It was also an opportunity for the CEO of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Mr. Oscar Onyema, to reel out the achievement of the exchange so far.
Oscar, let's get an update on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
As you know, the Nigerian Stock Exchange services the largest economy on the continent, and year to date we're up about 35%, the all-share index. I think this is really driven by the fact that we are rotating out of the commodity super circle that we've witnessed in the last 2 years where you had a downturn. And it's also driven by policy shifts in FX that have allowed for market-determined prices for inflows that are coming in to invest in the market. So we now have the investor-exporter window that is a credible market for foreign exchange, and that makes it a lot easier for investors, foreign investors that participate in the market to repatriate their dividends and capital gains. We continue to provide a robust marketplace that covers multiple asset classes from exchange-traded funds to equities to fixed income. And we've seen significant growth in fixed income markets from a listing perspective and from a trading perspective. Indeed, trading volumes in fixed income last year increased about 138%. We think that because market data and market services is the fastest growing part of our business, that you will continue to see significantly more innovation as we distribute different types of transparency products across the world. We're also seeing increasing flows coming from areas, from countries where we did not see flows before. As you know, our traditional split is 50-50, 50% domestic and 50% foreign, with about 49% of the foreign number coming from London as an international financial center, and 20% from the US. 5% from the Middle East, 2% from Asia, and then the rest from South Africa. We're beginning to see flows coming from Mauritius, and we think that is an interesting dynamic. We're also working with exchanges around the continent and around the globe to drive linkages that will make us present a deeper pool of capital for investors around the world. And also to create products that will be interesting for investors that are looking to participate in our market. The last point I wanted to make is that on the domestic side, we continue to see significant growth in our pension assets. And so Nigeria is becoming more and more, our capital markets, a hub for raising not only capital for companies in the country, but also for companies that are looking to operate across the continent.
So do you think that exchange consolidation might be the next topic on the continent, or do you think fragmentation of the exchanges is what's working now?
Well, I think, as Oscar has rightly pointed out, what is very important today for exchanges, first of all, I think exchanges should grow their size, their liquidity internally. But simultaneously, they should be able to, try to establish linkages across the different regions of Africa. For example, in Southern Africa, we have been discussing with exchanges in the region to see how we could use technology to cross-link our markets so that, investors from, let's say, Botswana could trade in Mauritius listed shares and vice versa. At the continental level, as Oscar has mentioned, there is a project that is currently being, promoted by the African Development Bank and a number of exchanges in Africa to try to use technology to cross-link these markets with the same objective of bringing more liquidity, ensuring that investors across the continent could be trading across each other's exchanges. So all this, I think, are very important initiatives that will definitely set the scene for a deepening and a broadening of capital markets within the African exchange space. Consolidation in terms of acquisition, I don't think this will happen in the near term.
Right.
I think what we may also see is exchanges opening up their capital structure in terms of strategic alliances with exchanges in Africa or outside of Africa. So basically, I think the way forward is for greater integration of markets, better linkages, cross-border investments, right, and trying to enlarge the investor space for investors to look at, the different products that
That's
are
interesting. We talk about that here in the U.S. as well, about the exchanges coming together to improve market structure, because it is quite complex on a level like the U.S. capital markets. We're almost out of time here, so I just want to run down the line with you. Ida, we'll start first. Where's the next opportunity?
In our reason, if we see what we have done at the Francophone level as BRVM, we think that integration is very important for stock exchanges in Africa. Because when we see our case, we have a common market that is shared by the 8 countries. So any investor can access the same platform at the same moment, and any investor in any country can be active on only one market. And the government also can raise money from the 8 countries to finance the needs in terms of long-term investment. We are trying to do the same thing at the ECOWAS level with our 15 countries that are members of the regional organization. Nigeria, Ghana, BRVM, and Cape Verde, and the other stock exchanges. What is important for us is not to have a unique market for the 15 countries, but a unique platform, a big platform right, that can be accessible for investors and that can be give opportunity for company to raise money, and also that can be an opportunity for investor also to diversify the investment. I think that is the future, because even if we try to develop our market at the internal level, we need to have a bigger market that can be right, more attractive for local international investors.
All right, well, I'm sorry, guys. We are out of time. Thank you very much for joining us at the Market Site, and as always, thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino.
Well, the Africa Investors Forum ended on Tuesday in New York. And that's it on the program for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.